In the winter of 1944, somewhere in Belgium, the war was still screaming in the distance. But here, inside a long olive-drab tent marked with a red cross, the sound was quieter, almost careful. You could smell boiled bandages and black coffee. This was a U.S. Army field hospital, the kind of place where survival wasn't guaranteed, but hope still had a bed. This is the story of a soldier named Joe. I don't know his real name. He's just one of hundreds of thousands. And this is the story of the place that brought him back from the brink. 1. Arrival soldiers didn't just appear here. They were carried in, passed from hands to hands, like precious, fragile cargo. First, the medics in the field. They'd patch you just enough to keep you breathing. Morphine for the pain, a tourniquet to stop the bleeding, a tag around your neck with notes and hurried handwriting. Then the ambulance ride, a converted truck, or even a jeep, bouncing over mud roads. Every bump was a gamble. The driver's mission was simple: beat the clock. The doctor's mantra was even simpler. Golden hour, get the wounded under a roof before that hour was up. And they had a fighting chance. 2. The ward. Inside, the hospital was divided into sections. One tent was for the critical, men too close to the line between here and gone. Another was for surgery, its tables lit by hanging lamps and powered by loud, stubborn generators. Nurses! Many barely in their 20s, moved like clock hands, always in motion. They'd learned to improvise, sterilizing instruments in soup kettles, reusing surgical gloves after boiling them, and turning bed sheets into makeshift slings. The air smelled of antiseptic and mud. Cots were so close together that if you leaned too far, you'd bump into the man next to you. But that closeness meant something. Soldiers talked in whispers, sharing smokes, stories, and sometimes the silence that comes when pain says enough. 3. Survival food. In a war hospital, food was medicine. The kitchen ran on military rations, powdered eggs, canned meat, condensed milk, and bread so dense it could double as body armor. For the badly wounded, it was mostly broths and soft porridge. Those recovering got hospital stew, a little meat, a lot of potatoes, thick enough to stick to your spoon. It wasn't about taste. It was about calories. A soldier burning through infection or healing from surgery needed energy like a tank needed fuel. On lucky days, a shipment from back home meant real coffee and chocolate bars, morale boosters disguised as dessert. Those small comforts could change everything. 4. The battle after the battle. The war didn't stop at the hospital flap. Infection was the enemy that snuck in every day. Penicillin, still new to medicine, was a miracle, and guarded like gold. Nurses tracked every dose, sometimes breaking tablets in half to stretch supplies. Physical therapy was another battlefield. Men learned to walk again, to use new prosthetic limbs, or to grip a pencil with hands that didn't work like before. The therapists were as tough as the drill sergeants, not because they didn't care, but because they knew the enemy wasn't just injury, it was hopelessness. 5. Going back, or going home. Some soldiers healed enough to return to the front. They'd leave the hospital with patched uniforms, half their strength, and orders to report back. Others got papers stamped honorable discharge and a ticket home. For both, survival was more than just living. It meant carrying what happened here, the smell of iodine, the echo of coughs in the night, the way a nurse's voice could cut through pain like sunlight. These war hospitals weren't just about saving lives. They were about giving a man the chance to live again, in whatever way he could. In the middle of chaos, these tents and wooden wards were islands of stubborn humanity. A place where the tools were simple, the odds were brutal, and yet, day after day, the wounded walked out alive. Survival here wasn't a miracle. It was a craft, one made of bandages, courage, and hands that refused to let go.